I can be quite abrasive and combative. I say what I think, and I usually don't worry too much about how people respond. I have very little concern as to whether or not people like me. I'm outspoken, and I always have been, and if I really believe in something that is very important to me, I will stand up for it no matter what. The whole don't rock the boat thing is wimpy garbage to me, and typically, I view people who roll like that as pathetic wimps. Sometimes, the boat needs to be rocked, and those who are, pardon my language, too chicken shit to do so when it is that which is required are not virtuous peacemakers. They are pathetic cowards. Obviously, I get a lot of people who are quick to label me as a jerk, an asshole, a prick. What else do people call me? Pretty much everything you could imagine. Do I care? Not really. Honestly, I don't. It bugs me slightly, and I wish people had the capacity to separate a person's behavior from the person, but the truth is, I am just as guilty of that as anybody else. I can understand why people would say those things and think the way they do, because truthfully, if I saw things the way that they do and I encountered someone like me, I'd probably say the exact same thing. I've learned through years of observation, both of myself and others, that we can all be far too quick to pass judgment, and it seems as though our default mode is to automatically judge a person according to their behavior, instead of understanding that behavior comes not from what a person inherently and intrinsically is, but from how they see the world, themselves, other people, how they're responding to circumstances in their life, etc. Now notice I just did that in the exact same paragraph. I passed judgment and did all the stuff I just talked about. And going off script here for a second, one thing that I forgot to add in that was how those things can be changed, meaning that the way that we respond and deal with stuff, the fact that it comes from how we see things and our perspectives and all that stuff, those things can change. So it's not an indication of who we inherently are. So back at it. So when people label and judge me, I understand that this is exactly what is happening. They don't really know me. They don't know my story. They haven't taken the time to understand. And until we do these things, we are not qualified to pass down a verdict that carries any real merit. Sure, we can pass judgment all we want, but it doesn't mean that it means anything or carries any weight. It's just an opinion and not a fact. Am I an asshole? Well, I can certainly act like one, but actually being one and acting like one are worlds apart. I'd say very few people in the world are actually assholes to their core. Hitler was for sure. Old Joseph Stalin? Yep, he was a real-life prick. But I bet that most people who are labeled as assholes have the capacity to be nice people most of the time, myself included. When most people meet me face to face, they say that I'm a really nice person, as long as they come as a friend and not an enemy. I care a lot about people. I have the ability to have such deep empathy and understanding for a person's pain that it's almost a fault. I'm incredibly loyal and willing to give of myself because I care and not because I want something in return from that person. I value friendship, relationship, and deep intimacy, authenticity, and vulnerability with other people. But I also have the ability to totally shut those things off. If someone crosses me and does not heed my warnings to cease, if someone gets in my way in my advancement toward a worthy goal, if someone is causing someone else undue harm and is unwilling to stop, if someone becomes a threat in any way to my family or to those that I love, I can very quickly become the meanest, most ruthless son of a bitch you'll ever meet. When someone makes themselves into my enemy and I decide I need to engage, I don't go in half-hearted. To me, it's a fight to the death, figuratively speaking, obviously, and hopefully. You become my opponent and I won't stop until I win. No matter how many times you may knock me down, I'll get back up and keep coming until I win. Frankly, I have very little respect for people who shy away from confrontation when confrontation is required, and since, statistically speaking, the majority of people in North America are the non-confrontation type, people like me, who aren't good at letting shit go when everyone else is running for the hills, are quickly labeled as jerks. Fair enough. I get it. But I know I'm not, no matter how many people think otherwise. I know myself well enough. I'm strong enough in my convictions to not be irrationally influenced by how people respond to me, because how people respond to me is rarely even close to an indication of what is actually true. The same goes for you. Don't be so influenced by people's opinions. Recognize how baseless what most people believe really is. Generally speaking, it's been my experience that the vast majority of people base their judgments not on merit or actual value, but on what the herd has deemed as right and acceptable, on popular opinion. When you question people when they state an opinion or place judgment, when you put them on the hot seat to back up their BS, you quickly find out that they don't even know why they believe what they believe, and I have zero interest in wasting any of my time or energy on trying to justify myself to someone who can't even think through their own opinions enough to cogently articulate on why something is true or why their opinion is valid and worthy of consideration. I highly recommend you do likewise. It would save you so much stress and heartache. To be continued. This asshole is over and out.